What is up, everybody? This is me, Mocha, here, being your host for today. And today's topic will be self care. And let me introduce my lovely co host, Nixie, over here.
Hi guys, what's up?
So it's just me and Nixie today for DieTye Radio, and we're just going to be talking about self care. And the rest of the group will be joining in shortly. But Nina, Nixie, what is self care?
Self-care is whatever you want it to be. Anything that helps you unwind, relax, stuff that makes you just feel good. Makes you feel good about yourself. It's nothing that like stresses you out too much. I think there's many forms of self-care. It just depends on whatever works for you.
Hmm, that's very interesting. So, how often should a person do self care, or is there any regulations on self care that you should perform on yourself?
I personally think there is no limit to how much you can self-care. Um, I honestly think people should be caring for themselves a little bit every day, doing simple things like taking a shower or, you know, brushing your teeth. Those are all things that maybe you don't even realize, but contribute to caring for the self, whether that be eating a good meal every day or making sure you get a little bit of time to unwind once a day. I think there's no limits, but I also think it really depends on how it's making that person feel.
Mhm. So, you say that there's no limits. Is, well, I have a follow up question. Is there such thing as overindulging in your self care?
Um, that's a good question. I think I think there's a times when people can take self-care to the point of like laziness,
Mm,
where they're caring about themselves so much that they don't care about anything else, where you start to put all of your unnecessary needs ahead of what is actually necessary for your well-being. That's when I think self-care can become too much, or when you might need to stop self-caring and start actually caring for the things that are around you. That
mm,
being said, I don't think there is anything really wrong with, taking a lot of time for self-care. I know a lot of people just need to, like, just a couple days just to kind of like de-stress or like, do what they need to do.
mm-hmm,
So I think you can overdo it, but I also don't think there's really any way you can kind of overdo it, so to speak. I think whatever works for that person, I think is probably the best. But I think once you get to the point where you're like not doing what you're supposed to do in terms of maybe your job or work or hobbies, then you might be doing it a little bit too much.
mm. That's
Like
very,
I just packed my makeup bag, which has all my stuff in it, which makes me super happy to do my makeup.
that's lovely. So, my question is, what is your form of self care?
Um, I think I do self care in a couple different ways. Like, for instance, today was a snow day for me. And since I took the time to do all of my homework yesterday, I thought I'd take today as just like a me day to chill. And I think the easiest way for me to chill is to like watch a show, watch a good movie. Today, all I did was play video games, and that's just because I really just want to sit down and play some good games. It's been a while since I've actually had the opportunity to relax and play a good game. So this was kind of that opportunity to do so. But I think I did notice when it was time for me to stop playing video games is when I was like starving. I was thought I was taking care of myself, but in reality I was not, because it was time for me to stop so I could take care of my necessities like eating and sleeping and taking a break once in a while. So I think you can overindulge in self-care, but for me, I just like to play games and just kind of relax at home. What about you, Mocha?
Um, that's something I'm trying to figure out. For me personally, self care can be me taking a bath with some bath bombs, with scented candles, with scented oils. Me just laying in my room watching YouTube videos where people are just building houses out of pretty much nothing but the environment around them. Me just enjoying my own space and my own time. Or in some cases, I just go out and walk in nature. That's self care to me. It grounds me, it gives me a new perspective, and it gives me a fresh peace of mind, in a sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think those are all different forms of self-care, and I think it really just depends on, how you make of it and what you do with your time, what makes you feel comfortable.
Hmm. I can agree with that. So how do we find the balance between self-care for ourselves and our personal life? Some people are very busy. They work like 12-hour shifts every day. They don't have time to cook for themselves, go grocery shopping, just do the necessary things because as we can tell, inflation has risen. Prices are going up for food, housing. A lot of people are struggling trying to find another job just to pay the bills. So, how do we find
Yes.
balance within that?
I think when it comes to the stress of the world in terms of trying to find an ability or find time to de-stress, I think is really up to the person. Like I think we all know when we've been like overworked or when we're super tired, but I also feel like there's nothing wrong with taking a little mental health day, like in America, unfortunately, we don't get the ability to like miss a day if we're feeling like not well. We when we don't work, we don't get paid. In
Mm-hmm.
other countries, they're so fortunate to have like actual mental health days where if you don't feel like you are your best, it's okay. And some of those are paid time off because I think it is perfectly acceptable for a person to have a day off. But you have people that are working these 12, 18-hour shifts. And where is the rest of your day going? Like, there's only 24 hours a day. If you're
Mm-hmm.
spending half of your day at work, the other half you should be sleeping or relaxing or enjoying that time. And some people don't even have the luxury to do that. So I think people just really need to realize when their body is at their capacity in terms of stress and what their next steps are to kind of unload that. Or that just be like, watching a movie like with a glass of wine and, you know, with your feet up on the couch and then, going to sleep early, whatever that might be, do that, get that time for yourself.
So, you believe that the best way to understand when you need self care would be to actively listening to your body and understanding your limits of when you have reached your max.
Yes, I fully believe that when you understand your body, you understand the limits of how much you can take. Like, when you just feel so overwhelmed because you have all these different things running around your head, but then you also have the feeling of like there's nothing I can do at this moment. That's those times where you have to just let bygones be bygones sometimes, and you have to just take a load off. Oh,
Hmm. Sometimes you just need to take a step back and just actively think of, okay, there's nothing I can do right now, but I can take a moment to take a breath.
exactly. Like there's nothing I can do at this moment in time, but what I could do is focus on how I'm feeling in this moment, even though I can't change my situation or
Mm.
whatever is going on in the world or around me, but I can change how I feel.
can agree with that. I find it very difficult to give myself self care because I constantly work and then I come home to take care of my pet that needs love and attention and to be taken out. So it's difficult for me to balance myself, my career, and another creature. So it's just trying to find the balance and understanding my own personal limit. And then also
Yeah,
understanding that I still have responsibilities. So I can't just sit here and lounge and just take a moment to reset. I have to make sure that his needs are met, their needs are met.
yeah, and that can be hard, especially when you have to worry about other people and other things around you that also need your love and support for them. Oh, like my suitcase is packed. Lovely. But that can be tough when you have to think about the needs of other people or other things that need your full attention. So that can be like the most stressful part about trying to participate in self-care because for most of the time those things, those people, those items, whatever that might be, depend on you. And if you
Mhm.
aren't there, then how are things supposed to happen? And in those cases, sometimes that's when you might need to take a step back from whatever that might be. Sometimes having a sitter or seeing if someone else can watch them for a little bit, or even the moments when, you know, the um the dog isn't barking, or when the dog is outside and you can, sit and watch the dog from afar. That's a moment where you just have to really appreciate sometimes because, not only do they really depend on you, but you can have maybe just a little moment of silence to think about when they're asleep or when they're older, when they're bigger. I will have so much more free time in
So
my
much
life.
extra time because they're not constantly barking at everything that's moving outside the door.
Right. Like how parents are like, oh, I can't wait till they're older. And then when they're older, they're like so sad because they're like, oh my
I want all
gosh.
the attention. I want all the love. Where's the cuddles?
Right, like my baby, she doesn't hug me anymore. I miss my sweetheart, like it's always something.
Yeah.
But in
But
reality,
go
you
ahead.
know, oh, I was just saying, but in reality, I think parents just miss that time when they had free time, because things really change. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, which is why, some parents try to make time to have a date night or, a time where the grandparents can watch the kids so they can just have a little load off. Just sometimes it can be overwhelming. I think sometimes people, we just really need extra helping hands sometimes to help us get through those stressful times.
I can agree with that. Hmm. Is there any kind of form of self care that you would be open to try that you haven't done before?
Hmm. Self care, I'd be open to trying. Um, Let me think. What's something I haven't tried that I would want to try? Hmm. That's a good question. Maybe participate more in like meditation practices, I'd say. Um, like maybe go to like a class and do one. 'Cause like
Mm-hmm.
I I hear people like talk about meditation all the time, but I don't think I've ever like done it seriously to the fact of like me going like, oh, I love meditation, like that's something I think I'm gonna do. In reality, it's been more of like I might just sit in my room and just close my eyes for a few minutes, and that's what I would consider meditation. But in reality, it's more than that. There's a lot that goes into meditation practices, and I don't know all of the research about it, but I do know that it's very important to a lot of people. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be something I would be interested in just, just trying to see what it's like and see if it really like impacts me or, changes my ways of self-care.
Hmm.
What about you? Is there anything you'd be willing to try?
Hmm. Something that I haven't tried before. I haven't tried doing a salt bath. That's something I would be interested into trying. Basically,
Mm,
what happens in a salt bath is where your body is literally floating on top of the water. You don't need to do anything. You're just sitting, listening to meditation music. It's completely dark, and you're just floating for a couple of minutes, and it's just feels nice and relaxing, and you're just there with your own thoughts, or you're there in your own space. And I think I
oh,
get into something like that.
it's not like a bath bomb. It's like bath salt.
It's just the whole entire water that you're sitting in is just mostly salt. That's what makes you float.
Huh, that's interesting. I
Hmm.
don't think I've ever done anything like that before. I'd like to try that though. That sounds fun.
Yep. And then there's this I think it's called, I don't know what it's called, but there's this spa that is where you go in and you sit in a cold freezer for a little bit. Typically, most people like get really good benefits from it. They're more relaxed. They feel less stress, and it's very very cold. I would be interested in doing it, but I would not be able to stay there for like 30 minutes at a time, which most people tend to do. I would most likely be able to sit in there for 10 minutes tops. And then I would be like,
Right.
okay, I gotta get out. It's cold.
Ye- Yeah, I've seen people do those kind of like what are they like the free like where they jump into like freezing cold water because it's supposed to like do something for your body, I think. And I always thought like it sounds relaxing or like it sounds refreshing,
It does.
but at the same time I'm like I don't think I can do
It's an
it.
immediate like shock to your body,
Yes.
especially when your body naturally produces heat and everything else around you is warm. And when you go into freezing cold temperature, that's just like an immediate shock. However, I can imagine
Um,
how refreshing and awake you are because your body is like kind of in like survival mode in that moment. But yeah, I would be very interested into doing that only for 10 minutes.
yeah, no, I would do it, but it would have to be like, oh, I don't know. I'd only
In
be
and
in there.
out.
In and out. It would be like 10 seconds. It would be like 10 seconds.
You would be in there and just be like, oh, it's cold. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'd be in there like, okay, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
It would be so fast. You wouldn't even see me. I'd be like, oh, she gone.
Yep.
I'm like, did she even go in? I'm like, oh, she did. She gone
It
now
was like
though.
a flash. She was in and out real fast. Real fast.
Yeah, she was in out. She was in and out real fast.
So,
So
my
yeah.
question, what self care have you done?
I feel like most self-care things I've done, um, is usually like at home, but one thing I like to do is I like to go get my nails done or my hair done, and it's usually super expensive, but like when I got back from that long 13-hour flight from Japan to come back here, literally the first thing I did was I'm gonna go get my nails done or I'm gonna go get a pedicure. And it's just because that's like the most relaxing thing for me. Like sitting there, the hot water, and then them like feeling my hands and stuff. It just feels so nice and it just makes me feel like less stressed, especially after being on that plane for so long. Like all I could think about was like I just want to sit in one of those massage chairs
Yes.
and I want to be relaxed. Like that's all I was thinking about. And that's what I did, and that's what I usually do. I went and got a refill of my nails a few days ago, so I love that. Um, Other things I've done, like I'll, do a facial or maybe like um, go to the hair salon. Um, Even like going to the gym is so nice, like getting a little workout, you know what I mean? All of that stuff, love it.
Yes, I can definitely agree. I've had a full body shiatsu massage. I've had
Ooh.
a I've gotten my nails done before. I've gotten my hair done before. I can't recall ever having a facial, like a genuine facial where they detox my pores and like it was super professional.
Hmm.
I would love to do that.
Oh yes, you would love it. I've only gotten it done like once or twice, I think.
That's cool. Like I would love to have the full spa experience where I get my hair done, my nails done, everything just fully relaxed. I look beautiful. Like I want to be like a princess. Or
Right? Like sometimes I literally just have to just spend extra money to, and like I definitely not saying like this is something for everybody because when I go and do this, it is expensive. But I will say like every once in a while, if you just feel like you need to treat yourself, just go ahead and do it. Go
yeah,
ahead.
you only live
Just treat
once. You might as
yourself.
well do it.
Like especially there's a good I fully full heartedly full wholehearted heartedly believe that you most likely deserve it too. You probably deserve that, just that little moment of relaxation. So you might as well go ahead and do it. Go out there, get your little facial, whatever you need. You don't have to go over the top with it, but like you can sit at home and just paint your nails, or you can watch a movie, just
Hmm.
relax.
You could have a girls' night if that's something that makes you feel more relaxed.
Hmm. I know I always feel like I have like the best time ever when I'm hanging out with my friends.
Mhm.
Like when I'm going out of town this weekend, this is gonna be a good self care weekend. Not doing any homework. I'm just gonna go visit friends. That's all I want to do. Nothing else.
That's very understandable. Um,
I think another big thing for me is like going to a new place sometimes feels like maybe not like a self-care thing necessarily, but it's always something like going to a new place by myself can kind of turn into like a self-care thing. Like if I'm hungry and like I want to get food, like I'll go out of my way to like take myself to like a new restaurant
mhm.
or take myself to, I don't know, like a new store or something. Like, oh, I need a pair of
I think
pants, like I
that's
think
like
I'm gonna
a
go.
form of self care. You're giving yourself a new experience and opening your mind. So it's self care a little bit.
Yeah, I think it counts a little bit, but I definitely can see like how some people kind of enjoy doing like activities like, just getting a chance to like, de-stress, let your mind be free in a different environment than your home. Because sometimes
Hmm.
I feel like if I'm sitting at home for so long, I start to feel like I'm going crazy a little bit sometimes
Uh huh.
because all I'm thinking about is everything I should be doing when in reality I might have done like none of the things I was supposed to do. So
Yeah.
sometimes just getting out of the environment and doing work elsewhere can just be better for your mind.
Yep. I can definitely agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Um, what would you say to people who like what's it called? Splurge shopping, like impulsively shopping, but it's therapy to them.
Oof,
It's really kind of
sounds
self.
like me. Cause I, well, I don't think I'm not that bad, but I will say that like shopping just feels so nice. Um, I will say that self-care doesn't have to be for in the form of buying something. I think if you like to buy things, you might just have a shopping addiction and
Yes.
you might just need to stop
You might need help.
shopping.
You might need
Right.
help.
You might need to just stop shopping. But I also believe that if shopping once in a while is what makes you happy, I
Mhm.
don't think there's a problem with it. Like, I, when I first arrived in Japan, the one thing I wanted to do was shop. And I did a lot of shopping, but it came to a point where I was buying like way too much stuff. So I had to kind of space out how much I wanted to shop by what I did was if I like passed the test I that was coming up, then I would reward myself by shopping for something. So then that way I'm not just shopping willy-nilly. I'm buying myself one thing for one thing that I did that I needed to achieve. And if I didn't do what I needed to do, then I didn't go shopping that weekend.
Mhm.
It's just like kind of a sort of like self-discipline,
Yep.
I think, when it comes to like shopping. But I will say, like, I think if shopping is your way of kind of just, being by yourself, being in your element, picking out your own clothes, and it's not like a habit, like how someone could have an addiction of getting their nails done and they're spending $50 every week because they want to change the color. I don't think that's a self care thing. That might be a problem if you are spending too much money.
Mhm.
But I think once in a while, if you have it in the budget to do those things, I don't see any problem with it.
So, how do you make a budget for your self care routine if you are trying to implement one?
So I think, first and foremost, like I said, self care does not have to be something you have to buy. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be there shouldn't be any monetary value necessarily on self care. It should just be something that makes you happy, something that you do in your free time that makes you happy. Now, for some people, that might look like spending a lot of money, maybe going to get your nails done, doing this and that. But those things, those costs can all be cut by just simply, um, what's it called? By simply doing those things in a cheaper manner.
Mhm.
Let's say you like going to get your nails done. Well, then something you might want to invest in is maybe like some gel nail polish. And then that way your nail polish lasts longer, or maybe acrylic nails, press-ons, those still last as long and might give you the same look or might even look better than when you go to the nail salon.
Mhm.
So I will say there are options. As far as budgeting though, I think self-care should not break the bank. It
Mhm.
should be extra money. It should be something that you have for yourself outside of what you'd normally spend on things. It shouldn't cost as much as your groceries. Like if you're buying groceries for the family, your self care day shouldn't be you breaking the bank because you wanted to relax. Because then you're going to be stressing about how much money you spent on your self care day.
Yep.
So it should just be something a little extra for you, yourself, something for you. And you shouldn't spend a lot of money on self care stuff if you can't afford it. Like you can always watch a movie from the comfort of your home. You can always do a face mask for $2 at like the dollar store or Five Below.
Sephora. Sephora.
Um, Shopping, you can always look on Amazon online, you know, there you could always go to thrift stores online so you're
Mhm.
not going out and spending a bunch of money. There is tons of ways where you can cut costs when it comes to self-care, but I just think that in terms of budgeting, you just need to make sure you're not breaking the bank. Whatever you can afford for just you, I think is how much you should spend.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I can definitely agree. I think my only issue is like if you're trying to do self care and you want the best quality out of your self care, like you're completely stressed out, you're completely overwhelmed, and you're just like, I have the money and it's extra. I don't have to do anything with it. I think you deserve to actively spend this money. Now, in some cases where you don't have the extra money, I definitely understand. You can just relax, do something simple. Even if you're like extremely overwhelmed, extremely worn out, you can just take a nap. That's actually self-care. Taking a nap is self-care. Getting in your
Yes,
blankets and relaxing and enjoying your time of
that is
peace.
self-care.
So I agree with you. My thing is like it depends on where I am at my stress level or anxiety level. If I'm like not feeling well, I'm feeling sluggish, I'll just take a nap. If I feel like out of my element and I need to be grounded, I'll go out for a hike to get in touch with nature. If I'm like completely worn out, I've been working like 6-day shifts back to back, then I'll go get a massage because I earned that money. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but it just depends on the situation for me. However, when I think of self care, I think of the extreme self care where it costs a lot of money because I guess it seems so wonderful and whimsical to just be in that kind of headspace of, oh, I have all this money. I don't have to worry about it. It's just me today. I'm just relaxing on my terms. And I guess I kind of have this, I want to live this whimsical life of being a, what's the word? A rich black woman. I want to be rich.
Look, there's nothing wrong with that. I think we all do. I think we all want to be rich black women.
Just for self-care, just for self-care, I want to be rich. I want to go to the spa. I want to be in nature. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
in the best rooms, getting the best treatment, eating the best food that I probably will not eat all of,
Me.
but I want to live this luxurious life. That's what I want to say, luxurious black girl life. But I understand that if I do that, I have to do more work.
Yeah. And
And
that's why I think like self-care comes in different forms, you know? Like I think a lot of people do have the idea of like, oh, it's my self-care day, so I'm gonna spend my money. Like I'm gonna make sure I give myself the best day possible. But I think self-care also has to be within limits because then you do end up breaking the bank, and then your self-care day feels like it backfired a little bit because now you're even more stressed because to in someone's eyes they might be like, I wasted a whole day spending a bunch of money and now I have to work double time today because I didn't work at all yesterday or something.
mm-hmm. And it's like even if you have to pay the bills and you work one job and you're just like, I'm so freaking tired, you can take a day off.
Hmm.
That's a self-care day. Just taking off from work and just resetting your mind, actively taking care of your health and your needs is self-care. And that goes back to what you were saying, understanding your body and understanding your limits and knowing where your mental is and where your physical is. But yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just kind of understanding your limits when it comes to things and how much you think you can handle, think how much you can spend. But I think like if you're someone who like hasn't really had many experiences giving yourself self-care, then I think it's okay to maybe budget small. Like maybe if money is something you're worried about when it comes to self-care, then don't go all out, your first time kind of just wanting to de-stress. Maybe instead do something at home, like pick, or maybe not even do something home, maybe go on a walk, or just buy yourself a coffee at the local store or the maybe, buy that latte you wanted at Starbucks last week. You know what I mean? Like, you saw that there, you saw the new flavor, and you're like, oh no, not today. Well, you know what? Today I'll buy. You know what I mean? Like, it should be like little stuff like that.
Yeah. Like making yourself dinner, like a really fancy dinner that's not going to cost too much.
Hmm.
Just taking the time to actively taking care of yourself. Like getting yourself some ice cream when you're supposed to be on a diet and it's been a long day. That's totally fair. That's totally
I think
valid. You
I
earned
think
ice
that's
cream.
I think that's so fair. I think, look, sometimes we just want a little bit of ice cream. There's
Just
nothing
a
wrong with
little ice
that.
cream. Just a little
Nothing
bit.
wrong. A little bit of ice cream, okay? Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, I think self-care comes in a lot of different forms and different ways, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just up to the person about what makes them feel good without, making that backfire. Like when I go get my nails done and my hair done, I have to like remember, like I have to remind myself that this is my day. Like sometimes I think it is okay to overspend a little bit because sometimes I feel like, I deserve this, I've been really stressed out. I just want to like do something for myself that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be happy afterwards, even though I know I spent like a little more than I thought I would, or I knew that this was going to be a little more expensive. Sometimes if that's just what makes you happy in that moment, then you just gotta do it sometimes, like I'm not saying you have to do it all the time. I'm not saying always go out of your way spending a bunch of money. Sounds like my Amazon package up, son. But I'm saying sometimes I think it's okay to go a little all out. Oh, dang it, that is not Amazon.
Aw.
Dang.
Buying yourself something from Amazon. Amazon is like Christmas. That is so
Amazon is like Christmas because like when the packages come, you get so excited, like, oh, package for me,
yay!
right?
You be unwrapping it real quick.
I know, like I ordered a planner because I want to organize my life a little more.
Yes.
So I was hoping it would come in today, but it appears that it still isn't here. Hopefully it will be here soon.
But once it comes, you're going to be so happy and you're going to unpack it and it will be your little box of self care.
Right, see? I think everyone should self-care. You just sometimes need like just time for you, just time to not worry about everything else in the world and just worry about yourself for once. Like I think as Americans, we are kind of selfish people.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much, we're so lucky to have so many things in life. But that being said, we also work harder than many countries that are around here. Like when I was pulling up the statistics, I don't think United States is number one, but I think like they're the third hardest working country.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I think we're definitely up there. But the thing that makes America different is because um America, um, like, granted, I think the other harder working countries are probably dealing with their own things, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it sucks because we don't really get some of the perks that other countries will get. Like other countries, I think aren't as hardworking because they have time for mental health and they are worried about their employees. They're, understanding that people need time away so they can perform their best work.
Mm-hmm.
And while we might be hard workers, we're also just really stressed out and can be very angry and upset people because we work so much. We
Yep.
know we have to work to live to eat, and if
Mm-hmm.
we don't do those things, we won't.
Then we don't get to eat. We
Right?
don't.
We don't get to eat. We don't get to leave. We are on the streets, and we're sad.
Yep.
So that's why we need to stress. We gotta stress ourselves, or gotta de-stress ourselves sometimes.
Yes. Gotta de stress ourselves. And what we've learned from today is how to de stress ourselves and how to just listen to our bodies and figure out what we need to do self-care. Self-care is not a luxurious style of life. It's just something that you do to make sure that you're okay and you're mentally aware of what you're doing, mentally present in your day-to-day life and making sure that you're okay. This can be from taking a nap to going out of town in a hotel and just having a spa day.
I
Healthcare,
completely agree.
self-care is completely different for everyone. So we definitely hope that all of you find the best way for you guys to find self-care.
Yes, guys, I hope that whatever you're stressed about, I think maybe take the opportunity to enjoy the snow, call into work saying, hey, it's
Mhm.
snowing out, doesn't look like it's too safe for me to drive out there, and just take a load off, relax, and just give yourself a day to just kind of, get back to feeling your best.
Yep. Just get back to feeling your ultimate best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, guys, this is going to be just a real quick episode, and we're going to be ending it very soon. So, thank you guys for watching our video, and don't miss our next video this upcoming Wednesday. And this is Nina and Mocha
Yeah,
out. You can follow us on Instagram at DieTye Radio, and you can follow us individually on our Instagram. Nixie, what's your Instagram and how can they find you?
you can follow me at Nixie_Gabriella and Mocha.
And you can follow me at Mocha Badu. All our information is going to be at the bottom. Have a blessed day and good night, guys.
Bye, guys.